So these are the ingredients you'll need. Everything here is pretty easy to find in any grocery store. I guess the most complicated thing is the tomato bouillon. The first thing you want to do is rinse your rice. I typically put the rice in a strainer and then rinse the rice until the water is fairly clear. So the next thing you want to do is get your vegetables onto the cutting board. You want to dice your onions, mince your garlic, and if you want to add serrano peppers, you want to slice the peppers but keep them intact. This is probably the most spicy approach. If you want a less spicy approach, you could just leave the peppers whole without cutting them. Or you could just eliminate the spice completely by not having them in the recipe. Next thing you want to do is get your pot or saucepan and put some oil into it. Next, you want to set the stove to roughly medium to high heat. And then you want to pour the rice into the pot. Please be careful, if your rice is still wet and the oil is extremely hot, then it will sizzle once the rice touches the pot. Although the ingredients are easy to get, the most difficult thing about this recipe is that you have to stir the rice in the oil for about 5 minutes. It does need to be a constant stir, and you want to stir it until it's lightly brown. Once it's been 5 minutes or so, or once the rice is lightly brown, that is when you want to add the garlic and onion. And then you just want to constantly stir for approximately 5 more minutes, or until the rice is nicely brown. Next, you want to add 1 cup of tomato sauce or half a can of tomato sauce. And then you want to add 2 teaspoons of tomato bouillon or 2 cubes of tomato bouillon. Once those are in the pot, then you want to stir until the tomato sauce is evenly spread amongst the rice. Next, you want to add 3 cups of water to the pot. Add a little bit of salt. And do a quick stir so that the ingredients are fairly mixed in the pot. Lastly, you want to add the serrano peppers if you do choose to add the peppers. After that, all the ingredients are in the pot, so now you want to bring the water to a boil. So set to high heat. Once the water is boiling, you want to place the lid onto the pot. Then you want to set the heat setting to low. At this point, you do not want to remove the lid until the rice is fully cooked, which is about 20 minutes or until the water is absorbed. Once the water is absorbed, your rice is pretty much ready. The last thing to do is to stir with a fork and then put the lid back on and let the rice rest for about 5 minutes. And then you could finally eat your rice. That night, I actually made some tostadas with the rice, so it was a pretty good meal. I hope you guys enjoyed the recipe. It's really simple and easy to make, and it does satisfy my Mexican rice cravings. See you in the next one.